overlooking Europe's last communist stronghold stands a mountain range. Plagued by political instability, war, and genocide, this area and its people were completely sealed off to the outside world for over 20 years. A place stuck in time. Today, it's home to Europe's last true wilderness. But is it really as wild as they say? Who lives there? And what does this part of ex-communist Europe look like now? On our quest to hike the world's most interesting trails, we're going to take you on an adventure. But this story doesn't start in the Balkans. It starts in our studio, here in Amsterdam. If you're like us, then you look to hiking as a way to get away from it all, to escape the noise. And you find yourself constantly researching places we can do exactly that. After some digging, we came across a particular mountain range. And when we read things like untouched nature and Europe's least explored landscapes, we got pretty fired up. We realized, however, that we didn't know much about the region. In Western Europe, the first thing that comes to mind when you hear about the Balkans likely has nothing to do with nature or hiking. If you're chronically online, it's probably viral videos and cultural stereotypes. But for most people, the Balkans are still synonymous with communism, war, and genocide. So we figured, the best way to learn about a place is to lace up your boots, strap on your pack, and take a stroll up and down a couple of local mountains. So that's what we did. Went looking for answers in the borderlands of Montenegro, Albania, and Kosovo. Talking to locals, hearing their stories, and eating a crazy amount of incredibly strong cheese. But first, a little history. Hiking these mountains 30 years ago wouldn't have been possible. But if you did find a way to make it to the top of one, you'll be overlooking a Balkan region at war with itself. To the south, a communist dictatorship led by Enver Hoxha has driven Albania into extreme isolation and economic failure. To the east, tensions between Kosovo's ethnic Albanians and Serbs are starting to escalate. To the west, Montenegro is backing Serbia in their efforts to extinguish Croatia's push for independence. The fall of communism in Eastern Europe is well underway. The Balkan region is plunging into a devastating conflict that will displace nearly 4 million people and claim the lives of over 140,000. At the center of it stands a wild and rugged mountain range, the accursed mountains. Straddling the borders of these war-torn nations, they became synonymous with conflict, blood feuds, and a hiding place for political refugees. But that's all starting to change. And driving this change are people like Amir.
I honestly feel like I'm living my dream life when I'm here. I'm close to nature, and I feel like genuinely this is my home, and you can trace back my family name 600 years. You know, all our parents' generation, they all left for more opportunity. And so for one generation to go to America and kind of cut that entire line, I feel like it's just wrong, man. So by being here, I'm trying to keep the history alive. Like, it's called the Accursed Mountain Range, but for me, I found the most blessings here, and I think that energy is just in the air. It's hard to explain because I see it in so many people. There's an energy in these mountains that it touches you, and for sure, I think you guys are gonna leave definitely more inspired, and I know for sure it's not gonna be your only time here. I'll see you guys again.
Hearing Amir talk about his love for these mountains is in stark contrast with their not-so-distant past, a time when border crossings in the accursed mountains were closed off and heavily fortified. Enver Hoxha even took it as far as building approximately 175,000 bunkers throughout the country, which is pretty insane, paranoid, and not particularly inviting to the outside world. The Peaks of the Balkans Trail was designed to change that. The trail itself is made up of a circular 192-kilometer route that traverses the raw wilderness of the Western Balkans. Sounds like one hell of an adventure, right? So we got to researching. And to help you get your own trip out of the group chat, we've put together a Trail Magic guide. It was during our research that we stumbled across Amir's family business, the Balkan Mountain Adventure Company, which he started 4 years ago to help people like us hike the peaks of the Balkans Trail. And while you can plan the route yourself, it's always nice to get help from someone local who knows the region like the back of their hand. Amir hooked us up with accommodations, 3 meals a day, transfers, border permits, GPS coordinates, and everything we needed for a self-guided hike. Plus, we got to support families and businesses throughout the region, something we believe is very important.
I'm not good. You're good. Let's get it. 3, 2, 1. Oh my god. Oh my god. Woo! That's actually quite hard. Oh, Jesus. Oh.
You can start your hike in all 3 countries, but since Amir is based in Montenegro, we flew into Podgorica and got a transfer to the city of Plav, where we began our journey the following day. But before we get into all that, we got a little something for you gearheads out there. Hikers know you have to strike the perfect balance between packing right and packing light. Because if you don't, you might end up wet, sore, and lugging around a bunch of stuff you don't need. For quieter trails, June and September are the best months to set off into the mountains, so we pack for relatively warm weather conditions. That being said, when hiking at high altitudes, it can still get chilly during late nights and early mornings. Like at 5 a.m., when we watched the sunrise in Dobrdal Valley and saved an ungrateful horse.
Don't want ungrateful.
It's like we didn't just save it.
Proper footwear is a huge one for this trip. Hiking 192 kilometers is no joke, so invest wisely. And bring blister pads, just in case. And a pair of sandals, so that you can let the dogs out after a long day. Then we have gadgets and equipment, starting with a backpack, like this one, which belonged to my mom. The Peaks of the Balkans Trail is a hut-to-hut hike, so with no need to pack a tent, mat, sleeping bag, and 10 days worth of meals, a 20 to 30 liter pack should be plenty big enough. Unless you decide to wild camp, of course. To us, a water skin is a no-brainer, mainly because having to take out your water bottle every 5 minutes is, quite frankly, a huge ball ache. We also brought a water filter. There are plenty of streams along the trail, and while they may seem clean, you might not want to risk it. Take my dad having a shitty time on day 5 as a tale of caution. He pulled through though, don't worry. Help. Besides that, it's pretty much all standard stuff. Then there's non-essentials. They'll make your time on trail even more enjoyable, if you have the space. Like a set of hiking poles, which your knees will thank you for, especially on descents. An AeroPress and some good coffee also can't hurt. We evidently wish we had brought some. Or a lacrosse ball to roll out your feet and legs at the end of the day. And lastly, a little evening entertainment. Our choice, Magic the Gathering decks. We're just cool like that. And that's about it. There's a full gear summary in the guide. You know what to do. All right then, back to the hike.
All right, boys.
We're almost there.
It's day 1 of the Peaks of the Balkans Trail. 10 stages, 192 kilometers, over 10,000 meters of elevation gain. All around us, the accursed mountains are crowding the horizon. And before us lies a winding path that will lead us right into them, through their valleys and over their peaks. At this point, we've only read about their troubled past and untouched beauty. Over the next 10 days, we'll find out if their name and reputation is actually justified. At first glance, though, we can't find anything sinister or cursed about them. Some locals have even dubbed them the Blessed Mountains. We get it. There are few places we've hiked through that still feel this wild and untamed. Largely because the region's painful history made the area inaccessible for so long. But it's also thanks to a more recent initiative called the Balkan Greenbelt, which focuses on protecting wildlife. Today, thousands of different species can be found thriving in the area. The region is also home to 3 of Europe's largest predators, all of which can be found in the most remote parts of the mountain range. So if you're worried about running into them, don't be. It's the free-range chickens that you gotta worry about.
Holy fuck.
What you will run into, though, are the people who call these mountains their home. And while it does often feel like you've traveled back in time, there's a younger generation that is moving things forward. People like Gas.
When I started here, so when we started with my family, around 8 years ago, we didn't have, for example, we didn't have beds or doors, you know, so people used to sleep on the mattress on the floor, and instead of doors, we put it like blankets. A lot of cousins who are coming from, for example, UK or Germany or stuff. They've been living there for a couple of years, and they decided to come here and start like something in this place as well, because everyone is understanding now it's a good opportunity during the season, like during the summers.
It's families like his that make this journey so special. Warm welcomes, home-cooked meals, and sharing stories. In the mornings, after you've been fed and handed a packed lunch for another long day of hiking, you set off again. Some days are easier than others. You won't find any really sketchy cliffs you have to scramble up or down, but it would be a good idea to do this trip with a solid level of fitness. So start hitting that Stairmaster, or build in a rest day. We didn't, and suffered for it.
How do you feel, Mark?
Fucking shit, pal. Like a broken man.
Day 7.
Day 7. Fucking done.
The original 10-stage route was established in 2011 and still remains. But over the years, local hikers and guides have started to make custom adaptations to the trail, cutting certain parts and adding others. Our route, for example, skipped sections in Kosovo during which you have to hike along a dirt road. Instead, Emir planned a little side quest into the Galbaji Valley where we hiked the Talianka Loop, which brought us to our favorite view of the accursed mountain range. So, if you're looking to tackle a fun and diverse multi-day through hike, the peaks of the Balkans should definitely be on your radar. Especially because the scenery you get to experience along the way is absolutely magical.
Pretty nice, hey? What's that? What's that over? Ah, got it. Wow. No, got it. Ah. Yeah, got it again.
It was easy to forget the history of this place, and that just over 2 decades ago, we wouldn't be allowed here. but the reminders of the war are still present, like scars high up in the mountains. While intimidating at first, we began to view them as a testament to the resilience and ambition of the people who call these mountains their home. Whether it's those that never left or a new generation who found their way back to their roots, people like Amir, like Gas, families that run the guest houses, all working tirelessly to change the narrative around these once accursed mountains. And rightfully so. They're wild, they're beautiful. The people are friendly, the cheese, unforgivingly strong. And, most importantly, the hiking. Well, the hiking slaps. So if you're looking to plan your next adventure, get the peaks of the Balkans Trail to the very top of your list. Because with every person that hikes through these mountains, its new narrative will grow stronger and reach further, until the world will know that the Balkans are home to some of the very best hiking trails on Earth.